Hey everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Scuzzy podcast. I am your host, Mio Emperor, and with me tonight is the usual panel here at Scuzzy. I will go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, it's Chai.
Hi guys, it's Oni.
And the top of the off, it's Richard Vane. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, thank you guys for the introduction. So, we do have a great show for you guys today. We are in the month of February, the month of love and romance, right? So, with that said, this tonight's episode, we will be talking about love and its place in the digital age. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna kind of dive right into it. So, when you do think about love and the concept of especially romantic love, you think about spending time with that special someone, right? Um, like talking, laughing together, watching movies, going to places. Um, But the dating game has changed quite a bit, just within the past couple of years because of the influx of, the internet. So now, instead of having to, call somebody up or go find them in a physical location like a bar, we can just use dating apps and, make profiles and kind of find people. Um, so with that said, I kind of want to talk to the panel and myself. Like, have you guys used dating apps? And if so, uh, do you think they work? And do you think they're good for people actually? So I'm gonna open it up to the panel. You guys can kind of chime in. What do you guys think about dating apps? And if you guys have, which ones have you guys used?
Man, I find those apps to be so awkward.
Yeah? Why so?
Yeah, I mean, I personally have not used them. I made an account on one only once a long time ago and just went inactive like soon after. Didn't really even give it a chance. And I don't want to sound elitist or something because it's not like, oh, you guys are so weird for using these apps, but I personally found it to be strange because it was very vain. It's all about having like this profile that everyone's open to seeing and stuff, and people will reject you just if they don't like something about your appearance. It's just so shallow.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you there. There is something really shallow about it because swipe left, swipe right. If you're hot or if you're not, then pass.
Yeah.
You know, that you might lose on prospective date. If you were in a party and say you're not like the hottest person around, but you are charismatic in the room, people like talking to you. People might be more interested in you that, but in those dating apps, I don't like them. Swipe left, and you never get the opportunity again.
Right. And then you have the whole concept of first impression, which in real life, it's easy. You walk up to someone, you got your cologne on, you're like, yo, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. And you're nice. And then that's a good impression. But then on the internet, that may or may not be the right thing to do. Because, like, let's say you send a DM to somebody, they're just going to think you're thirsty and then pass on you or something ridiculous like that. So that's just another example of why I found it's just so awkward. Like, I like people, I like seeing them in person, and I grew up with the internet, I always enjoyed talking to people on forums and like being active online and stuff, but when it came to like online dating, I tried that too, and I just didn't feel that same connection as I would with like a real relationship, like face to face.
Yeah.
What's weird is online dating. I remember when it first kind of came out, right?
Right.
And a lot of people, they took it as a joke, right? They're kind of like that. Why would we do that? That's kind of lame, right?
Right.
And online dating was actually meant to be kind of like for people who are somewhat introverts, who don't really go out, who are not that good at socializing, right? And it allows them a way to kind of like, meet up and find each other without having to go to those kind of social environments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like for a niche market in a way. But now, like, everybody's dabbing into it, right? Just giving it a try. But I feel like back then, when it kind of first started, people actually used it to really try to find people and hook up with, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays, it seems like a tool that people use to, help themselves with their self-esteem or image, right? Like, oh, this many people likes me, or this many people visited my profile, right?
Yes,
Right.
that's my problem with it right now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I've been trying that dating app stuff myself, and like lately, it's just felt like I'm just inflating their egos instead of actually trying to find someone. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Really.
And I agree with you, Oni. I do feel that. I also think like what Chai was saying, it's super awkward because like you are missing that interpersonal relationship, or like just talking to people. When it comes to these dating apps, it's all about like swiping left or right, and it's annoying. It's unhealthy in my opinion. I think it could take a toll on your emotional and mental state if you're like on the app for too long.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to do it. I tried it out for a bit, and like you said, it's just all about vanity and stuff. And like I put up a goofy picture because I can't. Lord knows I can't take a good picture, and I don't know. I consider myself a pretty swell guy, but I don't think I take pictures that well. So I'd rather do things in person. And what you were saying, Mio, was interesting because I actually knew someone who actually met their partner, their significant other, off of eHarmony when it first started, and they were talking about that. And like nowadays, like the dating game on these in the digital age on these apps, it's more about like hookup culture rather than actually finding a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an unhealthy environment in my opinion. So I try to steer away from it.
Yeah. And then, like, when I was a kid, and I'm not saying like a kid like a child, I was like at least, a teenager and stuff. I remember it was like, I think the early 2000s. If you even like told your friends or your parents, I'm talking to people online or I'm dating somebody on the internet, that was just seen as weird. They were like,
Yeah.
Who are you talking to? Why are you planning to meet them in real life? That sounds dangerous. You need to take a gun or have like some pepper spray or like have a older person there with you that you trust.
You need to murder this individual when you find them. Like, oh my gosh.
Because at that time, that was the same time that the Craigslist murder stories were kind of floating around, right, on the internet. And if you were a girl, people were like really scared to let like a girl go meet somebody on the internet. So they were being very like careful and protecting and safekeeping all that. And then nowadays, if you just get online and install an app, it's just seen as such a normal thing. So it's just kind of like jaw-dropping how times have changed.
Yeah.
What's weird is, when we talk about dating apps, it doesn't have to be like eHarmony or those apps that were created for dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people will use Craigslist. They will use, remember MySpace back in the days, right? They will use Facebook. I got a lot of friends and family that use Facebook to scout, their friends and family's friends list to try to find somebody to try to talk to or hook up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So, people are trying to look for love. They will find a way, and they will find whatever platform that works best for them to try to do so, right?
I mean, you just reminded me the only reason I'm with my current SO is actually due to Facebook, and I didn't even give them that credit. I hate Facebook so much that I actually had forgotten about that. I met him through a mutual friend on Facebook, and basically my friend was like, hey, you need a ride to like this convention, right? Because I was going to an anime con, and I was like, yeah, I do. And she was like, I have a friend that is pretty cool, you should meet him. I was like, oh, okay, cool. They'll be, your ride, and I definitely trust them and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay. And I ended up, like, friending this person on Facebook and having, like, a chat with them. And we started talking, and at first it was a little message here and there, and then the messages got faster and faster, and we started talking more and more. And then we had the late-night conversations. Then I dropped my digits. Then we started talking on the phone. It just led from one thing to another. So let me be honest with you, it does work in some instances. I had actually forgotten about that.
That's true.
Hey, Chai, since you're a girl, right? And get your point of view.
Yeah.
Let's say you're still single, you're in the market. If you meet a guy kind of randomly, you guys like each other, would you give him your phone number, or would you give him your social media information first?
It's kind of crazy. I think I would do social media first, and I don't even understand why I would think that way, but I feel like that's how a lot of people might see it now. And I can't speak for everybody, but it just seems like you can kind of... this is going to sound really weird. I'm not saying I'm a stalker, but you can look through their profile and kind of see who they are and kind of judge them a little bit. And I think a lot of people do that nowadays before they befriend people. They kind of like crawl on the internet and look at what they're doing and who they are as a person before they actually like try to get close to them, because you just don't trust people that well.
Yeah, that's really true. Like, I've been guilty of that. But like, what about for people like me who are super self-conscious and only post like one good picture of themselves online? That's the one picture you can take.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I mean,
like weird. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
you only have one image online. What is
Like,
this
geez,
guy?
that's what my nose looks like? Oh my god.
yeah, I mean, I saw that as a
you
red
would-
flag initially when I would like see stuff like that, because I was like,
God, for real?
yeah, it would like drive me away a little bit, because I was like, yo, why did they not have anything public? But that was me back when I was younger. Now I'm like, I don't give a damn. Like, social media is social media. Just like leave that out. That ain't the same thing as real life. That's just a whole other jungle.
All right.
I had to kind of learn that when I went back into the dating market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm of the older generation, so when I used to date, if the girl gives you her number, usually if she likes you, it'll be her real number. If not, it'll be a fake phone number, right?
Yeah.
So
The fake number.
yeah, it'll be a fake number. You'll call and this dude picks up, or hey guys, hello. I'll be like, oh, is Amanda there? He's like, who's this, right? No, you have the wrong number. I was like, oh, that's a rejection right there.
Hey, dude, I knew people who would give people Pizza Hut's number. That's so effed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dial up Pizza Hut. Hey, baby.
See, I would do that, but it would only be for like those solicitors who would like be talking to you for hours and like, hey, can I get your number so we can meet up sometime and talk more about this this topic that we've been talking about for 10 hours? I'm like, no. I mean, back then I didn't know how to say no. So I was like, yeah, sure, let me just give you my digits. And then I'd give them like half of my phone number, and then the other half would be some other thing, some other random numbers. And like, I don't know who they're texting, but it ain't me. So,
it is kind of weird. The weird thing is that like nowadays we're more connected than ever, right? So if you want to find somebody, your chances of finding a person is much higher than before, because there's more fish in the sea right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think right now, at the same time, everyone is so picky. I don't know whether they're scared and they only kind of want to choose a specific type, or is it because there's so many fish that they know what they want, and they know they can probably get it, so they just keep fishing over and over and over again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And mhm.
That might be the case. I don't know. Like, I have been noticing. Like for me, I don't get that many clicks. Right. When I do get them, it's usually just like for friends or something like that. So I've been noticing that I haven't been getting a lot of people, or when I swipe right on someone, they kind of just like to see that someone else liked them, instead of, and don't respond back.
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to describe that feeling.
I know how you feel, man. For me, like, I'm not like, I'm average at best, right? I'm not like the best looker, but I do know that when you play the game, you have to put your best picture, your best stuff out there. You gotta, fix your profile in a way where, it shows that you can be funny too, right? And not just kind of just post facts about yourself, but
Yeah.
That's
keep
the
things
hard part.
interesting.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, my matches that come back, don't match anything at all, like from my profile or my interests or likes that I put on there, right?
Hmm. Yes.
And a lot of these girls that do contact me are and in the nicest way possible. They're not my type, right?
Yeah.
And I always reply back, or I always try to be nice, because if somebody actually likes you, you try not to take that for granted, right?
Hmm.
So you just be like,
Exactly.
oh, hey, what's her name? And if she's nice and everything, who knows? Something might build from there. But if not, you just be like, oh, I have somebody, or so already, or I'm not interested, but thank you, right? Uh, but when I say some of those lines, a lot of the girls that I meet on these dating apps and stuff, they get super mad, right? And
Oh.
they'll probably send me these like almost like a full page text
Oh
telling me
no.
that I'm a jerk and I'm so superficial and stuff like that, and I'll get mad and I'll tell them back. I'll be like, "Who's superficial? You're superficial, right?" I mean, I don't want to be mean, but look at me and then look at you.
Right.
No. But
Ooh. You're as cold as ice. Like that song.
burn, right? But at the same time, I don't want to say that because you want to be nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you put your best picture out there. I'm wearing like a nice jacket or maybe a coat or with a tie, and some of these girls like, I'm surprised. Some of these people, not just girls, right? So some people, I am surprised what picture they actually put for their profile picture.
Oh yes, I've
Right.
seen
And
some
I'm like, you
whack
expect to
pictures
find
before.
somebody, with the profile picture, like for example, like a dude showing himself in camo and holding a fish,
Hmm.
right? Or a guy next to his Acura Integra, right? I was like,
Hmm.
dude, show yourself in your best light, as if you would go and meet them, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a bad first impression for sure.
I wonder if like their idea is this is my real self, so maybe if I show them like this, then there's no missing it. You know?
This is the authentic me.
This is the authentic me. This is the whole thing.
The whole
Hey,
package.
you can't hate on them because they're being true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You
You know,
you get what you see right there. So,
yeah.
Right.
Well, that's not how the market is. It's like you got to be someone else, and then you show them who you are, which is I think is a bad idea. But that's how first impressions usually have to
That's how it
go.
works.
Yeah.
Usually you got to pretend that you're someone else. Someone more interesting than you really are. And
Guys, that's how it naturally is, right? Because even if you meet somebody like for the first time, you're not honestly totally true with that person, right?
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, like you're not totally fake too, but at the same time, you're still kind of trying to gauge that person, and you're not trying to like let all your bad sides out too, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Right.
get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Hmm. Yeah.
You
I
want to
think
leave
the
a good
internet,
impression.
yes, you want to leave a good impression because people know your first impression is not always the truth, right?
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
takes a couple dates or a couple times meeting, talking to each other to eventually learn the truth. And I think these dating sites, they just take that stream.
Hmm.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think there's been studies on that too, and that's always an interesting science to see how different people handle their online interactions versus their real ones. Because even if you see it on base level, like on forums where people are starting like flame wars and stuff, they are more comfortable being jerks and being anonymous, and that's what makes them feel more powerful. But like if they were trying to say the same stuff to the person's face in real life, they'd be cowards. So there's like
Yeah.
that huge difference in how their personalities play out on the internet versus real life. And that was another topic that kept coming up when I was younger as well. Is like, are you sure you're even talking to this person and they're who they say they are? They may be somebody completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. It's much easier to build a fake persona where you don't really have to even show a face.
Mm-hmm.
It's an icon or just a bunch of letters on a website, and you don't really even have to be you. You can just be someone that you can pretend you're Tom Hanks or anyone.
I am
else.
God. Follow me at JesusTwitter.com. or something dumb.
Oh, once you guys brought that up, I have a lot of like uncles and older brothers or people who are older than me that
Yeah.
tried international dating, where people would send like videos of themselves and letters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, what happens from these horror stories is that when they finally go meet that person overseas, it's actually not them, and it's somebody else, like their friend or their sister, right?
Oh,
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
that's a
and then they
setup.
get super mad. It's a setup. So they get super mad. They're like, I just wasted, like over $1,000 to $2,000 to fly over to see you, and you're not who I was talking to all this time. And then person
Ooh.
will be like, well, I love you so much, but if I showed you who I am, I'm not sure you will like me or you would come, right?
Mm. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
catfishing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
just
the
like
extreme.
That's the
The cosmic-
original,
Yep.
the OG catfish.
yeah.
You know, there was a show called Catfished or something. It used to be on TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it
seeing
was
that.
all about dating apps and people getting catfished on them, and then meeting them in real life, and they're not who they thought they was. Like, they were like, "Oh, you look better in your profile picture and stuff." I was like, "Oh, damn!"
Damn, dude. Damn. I mean, what about? I mean, the whole build. The making a profile picture look completely different than what you are. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, like filters and makeup and all that extra
Like
stuff.
the makeup and like the angles and make them look like they're taller or skinnier than they really are. You know?
Yeah.
I don't. You should just be true to yourself. I think that a lot of us, for sure, we want to put our best self out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we try
Uh-huh.
to take our picture, or we try to put our best picture, whatever puts us in the best light out there.
Yeah.
And that's fine as long as it is true. So if you use all these editing features to make your, like, Instagram filters and everything like that, to make yourself look all nicer, clearer skin, things like that, to me that's so artificial. Because I think a lot of it probably affects girls more than guys, right? Because girls are more kind of self-conscious of their looks and their beauty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But in a way, like, it's kind of sad that now I feel like it's so artificial that a lot of girls, uh, they don't understand that they are naturally themselves are pretty too, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said you don't need all of these makeup, stuff like that. Sometimes some of the girls that I see, when I go to their home and they're not really wearing makeup and stuff anymore, they actually look prettier because they look more
Right.
realistic, more casual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on that train with you, Mio. All right, I completely agree with you right there. I prefer girls more natural than all the authentic filters and makeup that they put on. But I am guilty of using those Instagram filters. I did it just
Oh
the other day.
no!
But it was
Okay.
only because I took a picture and it was too dark. The room was too dark, and I had like a black curtain behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize when I took the picture, it looked different. And then I saw it on the computer, and I was like, oh no. So I just used like the filter to edit the lighting a little bit. But like, I don't go like super extreme because I don't know how to make it look like super, I don't know, pretty. Because like I'm pretty new to this stuff.
Well,
But
so
I
you-
use it just for like, adjusting like lighting and not having to go back and retake an image or a picture.
So that was
So
more like
yeah.
a saturation thing, right?
yeah, more so like a saturation, just fixing color. Yeah.
I don't think those things are a problem. Like like if you
Nah,
have like
that's totally okay.
like a pastel saturation or something to make you look better in this light. Sure, that's fine. But like I don't like the dog mouth or the the completely covered face or like the I don't know the fake Snapchat makeup or anything like that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are like AI based makeup
Mhm.
filters or something.
Yes,
Mhm.
I think those get annoying for me because I just want to see the girl, or
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I want to see.
So,
Some
mhm.
girls actually use those animal filters as their primary profile picture, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's all you see, and you're just, and to me, I'm kind of bewildered by that. Like when they don't put themselves, so they'll put like a animal filter, or they'll sometimes put like an anime character, right? Or they'll put
Mhm.
their cat, right? So I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
who is this girl really, right? Like, why are you
Mhm.
so ashamed of showing yourself. Just show yourself. It's okay, right?
Well, I'll give you a hot take from a female perspective.
All right. Yes,
Oh yes, go ahead, Chai.
Please.
So I'm gonna be real with y'all. It does not bother me that the girls like to put on makeup and do filters and all that extra stuff. The reason I feel like they do that is from my own perspective and personal experience. If you don't like look appealing on the internet, you're gonna get a lot of trolling, a lot of bullying, and a lot of girls are not accustomed to that kind of stuff, so they cannot handle that mentally. So like if they feel better because they wear makeup and they feel like they're themselves because of it, then by all means I say go for it, you know. As misleading as some people say it is, like I know men don't wear makeup, but it is like a woman's thing, predominantly, but I've seen men do it too. It's just a way of self-care is the way I see it. Now, if you ask me if they look too different from who they actually are and they're editing their jaw to look slimmer and they just don't look anything like their picture and their hair is completely different, everything's different, then you meet them and that's misleading to you because you went and tried to date the person, then I'd say that would be a bit of an issue. But aside from that, I don't see any issues with any of that.
Yeah, and I see where you're coming from, Chai. The reason why I was on the other train or on the other side with Mio was because it's not really the side actually, but in my family, I guess like the girls in my family don't really wear makeup that often, so I grew up not really, needing to see that or see a girl putting on makeup before they go out to do things. So that's just like something I'm more used to.
Yeah.
Which, if you want to put on makeup, that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to say no to someone just because they're wearing makeup. But, back to the point, just like completely, totally changing yourself just to fit society's needs or whatever, to make yourself look good, to gain a following. Yeah, that's another story.
Right.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about with like presenting yourself the best way possible when you put yourself online too, because you will get haters or people just say random stuff like, "Hey, why didn't you shave your armpits?" or "Man, your nose looks really big in this picture."
Yeah,
it's like that stuff really hits you.
it
It's like
does.
it can really take a negative effect on you. So like,
And
I
then
totally get.
women like base a lot of their self-esteem around their physical appearance because it's kind of like a thing that we're told when we're very young, like our value is how we look, and you don't necessarily have to believe that, and I don't entirely believe that myself. It's just that it's a societal pressure, just like how men have this like weird societal pressure to not cry and do certain things that they should feel comfortable doing. Like I feel like it's really a toxic mentality and that needs to slowly like come undone, because I feel like a woman's confidence should be strong, especially on the internet, because like that's a medium to get all kinds of connections, relationships, jobs, whatever. So if they're, looking their best, by all means, I say go for it. But the only issue I have is like now AI is getting more and more advanced. You're going to see a lot of weird stuff. Like you got deep fakes and all this other crazy stuff going on. So if you're misleading somebody to believing that you're somebody completely different, that's like a completely different story. And I could totally understand why that would be offensive. But aside from that, like I'm cool with everything else, really.
Yeah.
I might have come off pretty harsh, right? But in a way, like it's not really against. For example, if the girl wears makeup, that I'm all fine with that, right? That's not a big deal. It's kind of like we're on a dating site, right? You're there to find somebody. I'm there to find somebody, right?
Yeah.
And for example, Chai, if somebody reached out to you and he had a basketball for his profile picture, right?
Yeah.
Would you swipe yes and try to talk to him?
The funny thing is, I'm weird like that, so I'm probably going to get
You
to know
would?
the person. Yes, I would.
Right.
I'd be like, what the fuck? That's kind of weird. All right, cool. Let's get to know this person. I hope they're not a serial killer, though. Like, low key.
Yeah. That's some people with weird profile
See, that's the
pictures.
thing, though. Like,
They're crazy.
I personally feel these apps are too weird. Like, the interactions are too weird for me to consider, like, dating online. Because, like, I've dated online before, and like I said, from experience, shit can be really strange sometimes. But like you got to take the leap of faith sometimes, and then maybe meet the person and get to know them. Never take what they say on the internet for face value. You know that's not them for the most part. Like I never trust that.
Yes, that's true. It's
You
true.
really got to get to
I
know
don't know.
them.
Maybe I take these things too seriously because I take like dating sites, like even like the first interaction between each other, uh, just as if we would meet in real life, right?
Yeah.
So, if, for example, if I came to approach you, I would come approach you with my face, with my clothes, with everything that I have, right? I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna come and put this mask on my face like this,
An anime
this
avatar
catch a mask. Yeah, right.
in
'Cause
real life.
that would be, I know. That would be awkward. I would like to see that in real life, but
Oh,
I
man.
I treat it the same. So like if a girl comes and introduce herself, right? And she says,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, I like your picture. I think uh it looks nice or something like that, right?" And I'll be, "Oh, okay, hey, thanks for the compliment, right?" And then you know you just kind of engage and talk to each other in a nice, hopefully kind of realistic or true way, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So when I do see these pictures, these avatars with dog images or kitty cat pictures and anime characters and things like that, which it doesn't kind of show them. And plus, some of them they don't even put any other pictures in their profile that includes them,
Yeah.
right? Or they don't write anything on their profile too, really. So sometimes I wonder if they're like catfishing or just bots.
Right.
You know, they
Yeah.
could be bots.
I don't.
Could be bots.
Yes, they
You're
could be
bots.
bots. But for me, bots are more these pretty girl images, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So
The bait.
Yes.
those are the bots.
The baits.
Yes.
Those are the bots.
The clickbait.
What they're like, oh, hey, this is me on spring break, and they're like super, I don't know, like the perfect looking girl.
Oh, I have a story about that. I was so sorry to interrupt you guys, right?
Over.
I was so pissed off because well, should I call out the company? I guess I'll call out the company. Right, I was using East Meets East a long time ago, right?
Oh, God.
And
Boy.
for girls, it's free to go on there, right?
Oh, yeah, I read that today.
For guys, yes.
Hmm.
For guys, it's free to make an account, and it's free to browse all the girls on there, but it costs money to talk to them.
That's crazy. What?
Yes. So, they give you like maybe like a month to 3 months free to try it out, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't having too much luck on there, right? So, right at the end, before my free trial was over, this one girl texted me, right, and said, "Hi, like, can we talk?" Right? And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I tried to text her back, but it says, "Oh no, you need to pay money to reply back to her," right?
Bruh.
So I was like, I brought up my credit card, and I was really, really thinking like, should I or should I not? And this was a pretty looking girl too. So
Yeah.
I said, well, I'll just buy it for a month, right? And just to see how it is. And once I
No.
bought it, I text back, ghosted me, right? So
Oof.
I got so mad. I was like, this is probably a bot, tricked me,
Right.
right?
What a strange revenue model. I wonder how they're making money.
It is strange. You would think that they would promote you to use it more, and like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering, like,
Most dating sites, guys have to pay. That's how it is.
It's
yeah.
like the clubs.
I mean, that is
It's like the
strange. I
clubs. When
didn't
you
know
go to the
about
clubs,
that.
girls getting free.
Damn. Man.
Because I asked one of the girls, there was a Hmong girl that I was talking to on East Meets East, right?
Yeah.
And I asked her, like, can you do a filter search on like how many just Hmong guys, right, that come up, and I'll do a search on how many Hmong girls show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I did the search on my end, only about maybe 200, 250 girls show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know how many Hmong guys showed up on her end?
Oh, tell me.
Ooh, a
Over
lot more.
22,000.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Right. So I'm just kind of like, oh man, like, number one, I guess a lot of these companies are always trying to entice girls to come in, right? Because that's their because guys are their market, but girls are usually their what do you call it? Like their goods that they can market.
Oh yeah,
Right?
okay, yeah.
Uh-huh. And then guys are usually willing to pay. Yeah, because in all honesty, if we go out, if we go, take a girl out to go eat or do something, we're always willing to pay, for the most part, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So, if we're willing to talk to a girl, I'm okay with paying as long as it's like, not super excessive, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there has to be some results from it, So if you know the girls are not willing to talk, or I'm just not really getting any hits, then of course, I'm not going to pay money for it, right?
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, that's how these sites work. Usually, guys have to pay, and usually for girls, for the most part, it's free.
I see. Man,
Hmm.
yeah, crap. That is
Yikesy.
crazy.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I guess that model works because these dating sites are still alive and going, right, for all these years.
Yeah, it's
that's
true. But like,
true.
what if like do you ever like run into guys that just make girl accounts just to talk to more girls, or is it like locked into like only talking to guys if you make a girl account?
It depends on the dating site because you can choose, which gender are you
Yeah.
attracted to. Um, for this particular one, you choose right in the beginning. So if you say that you're attracted to girls, then you can just filter nothing but girls.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can't even look at other guys. So that's why I would ask. So this one girl I was talking to, I was surprised because I asked her like, why did you, of all the 22,000 guys, like, why did you choose to talk to me, right?
Mhm.
And what stood out about me, she's, oh, because you actually, you put like a nice picture, your profile's nice, right? She said that a lot of the other Hmong guys, you know they're not really presentable. So I asked her if I can kind of take a look at maybe one or two profiles from my fellow, Hmong brothers, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were pretty lame, dude, because they just
Oh,
talked about like, I love fishing, I love cars, right?
Oh
You
boy.
know, and I'm just and they don't really put anything like funny or attractive to make the girls talk to them, right?
Mhm.
And I felt bad for my fellow Hmong brothers because I'm like, oh man, in terms of all the Asian guys, we're kind of at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, well, thank you for choosing me.
Oh man.
What's surprising is Hmong girls don't actually, I guess they don't actually text or talk to me a lot. I seem to get on bad terms with them or repel them.
Mm.
Most of the girls I'm attracted to, or that are attracted to me, are actually either other Asians or other cultural people.
Really?
Yeah. So if I have to break it down, like it shows me like which nationalities are most attracted to you, right?
Mhm.
So for me, like the top three was Vietnamese girls number one, Korean girls number two, and then black girls number three.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So those are in terms of the number of likes or the number of girls that actually show a thumbs up or show interest in you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So those are just my statistics. But it's been a while, so that's just what it was in the past.
Oh man. Man, I don't know. I've been getting a whole lot of nothing on my dating apps lately. You know, I've been wanting
Oni,
to.
are you showing a picture of yourself holding like a video game controller?
Maybe, maybe I'm one of those real guys. You don't want to show them my true self. You know?
the top Tekken player
So I'm
Gamer
Tekken
Bros are
player,
awesome. What are you talking about?
having a waifu in my hand. You know,
left pillow in the other.
Still gets
Oh
girls.
man, how can anybody say no to that? Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome. All right.
All right, guys. So we're gonna move into our next topic.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
our next topic is, what place does or how is love gonna look like in the future, right? So humans have been, people have been trying to work on like, creating AIs, uh, that can be, emotional support for us or that we can fall in love with. There's talk about VR, right? And at the same time, people they've been doing this for a while too, but people have been like marrying like video game characters and love pillows and things like that. So so my
Hey,
thing to
man.
ask you guys is, oh, you have one?
Don't kink shame.
So my,
This is right up my alley, man.
so my thing is that like where do you guys see love in the future? And at the same time, is there a moral or ethical way to love? Like, is there a right or wrong, um, social acceptance, when it comes to love, right?
Hmm. Man, I think you know what? I think that falls under the love what you love. Like, I do see people argue that you can't really love, an anime character, a video game character, because, can't love back, right? But I say, who cares, man? That's what I love. But
At least your anime character would never argue back with you, right?
exactly.
Dang.
Now we have a happy life.
See, that is the
you
reason
know?
why in Japan they actually are making VR husbands and VR wives, so you can interact with them in the VR world, and they can go on dates with you. They can talk to you. It's kind of like remember that game when we were kids, Hey You Pikachu? It's like Hey You Pikachu
Yeah.
with like a anime man or anime wife.
Oh boy.
Exactly. And like this whole concept kind of reminds me of like that one anime, Chobits,
Yeah.
where they made like robot like people or boys and girls that like people could like use for other purposes. But like, people could also fall in love with them. And like there's this one, like if we're going to ethics, there was this one, I think, teacher whose husband left her for one of these Chobits.
Yeah.
And she was just like super depressed. So I think she ended up hooking up with her student. It was some weird drama stuff, but it worked out for her in the end. I guess I don't know how things go over there, but her husband just straight up left her for one of these other AI. I don't know if there was something wrong with their marriage or like what was going on there. They didn't go too deep into it. You could possibly see that stuff happen if like we do get to that point with AI and just VR and stuff.
Yeah, like ethically.
Not at that. Yeah.
I mean, like I think that would still fall in the line of cheating or like causing like a problem between like your relationship.
Yeah.
If the other person is falling for an AI, there was something wrong with that relationship anyways.
Yeah.
Or there's
Right.
an issue that is not being discussed or resolved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's quite kind of a tough question because, like, for example, when you're trying to find somebody to love and spend the rest of your life with, right? Of course, there's going to be trouble. Nothing's going to be perfect, right? But
Yeah.
what is the whole point of having that person there, right? So it's for two reasons. Number one, for emotional, support,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And number two, for physical, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if they created a robot that has an AI that can provide both, right? So the robot can, provide you with the emotional support, I think, and that's where a lot of people don't understand it too, because a lot of the people that I talk to that are, not that tech savvy, they'll be like, oh, what can a robot say? They just have these set amount of lines that are programmed, right? But
Would be great.
but I said that's not how AI is. AI is constantly learning, right? So AI can take whatever your response, or probably take a look at your body language or your facial, structure, and compute that, and then learn how to talk back to you in a way that you would like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, it's not just like, oh, welcome home, I love you, right? So it's not really simple things like that, right? So if you kind of think about it, yeah, it can make conversation with you, right? Like, oh, honey, how's your day, right? Are you hungry, right? Oh, I know that you like, spaghetti. Do you want me to make spaghetti for you, right?
Mhm.
So imagine, coming home to that every day where, they're nice to you, they provide, emotional support. And at the same time, the robot physically has like almost like realistic body parts that can kind of satisfy you physically too, right?
Mhm.
The only thing that the robot cannot do is if you're, if it's a girl robot, can't give you a baby, or if it's a guy robot, it can't, impregnate you or give you a baby. Unless I guess you could go to a sperm donor or something and have it
Right.
inside the male robot. But if that is the case, right? If the robot is able to provide you emotional and physical support, uh, and you fall in love with it, is that ethically or morally wrong, right? You fall in love with this inanimate thing that is not human.
Okay, so being a person that loves video game and anime culture like I do, and I have like waifus myself, I don't think that's wrong. Say that. And say that is I think it's okay, right? And you're not trying to go out of your way and hurt people or do anything. You just kind of fall in love with your anime or your robotic wife or whatever and live your life. I think that's fine. I think you know. But then I do understand that some people have like they'll say that you do not live in reality, and so you really don't understand what's going on. You might have something wrong with your head, or you're just wanting to escape the reality of like real life. You don't want to talk to real people. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think you need to. Oh, go ahead, Chai.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure if that kind of technology exists to that level. Does it, Mayo?
Not yet, but I remember when I was taking a look in Japan, because this is where they're creating those type of robots.
Yeah.
They said that physically they're able to kind of create it with pleasuring tools, right?
Yeah.
But it's not able to walk and move around and like on bipedals, things like that, right?
Right.
So it's still kind of like a doll, right, where you can kind of sit it on the couch or lay it in bed, right?
Yeah.
But it can talk. Yeah, it can talk, but not to that level yet. But it's gonna get there. We're just in a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is it ethical? Absolutely. The reason I say that is because it's at the end of the day, it's still not a human being. It's kind of like a toy. It is what it is. It may be a hobby of some sort. But if it takes over your life or like replaces real life interactions or relationships, I think that could become a definite problem or a definite issue. I think we are headed in this direction. I think it's a great thing to have, not just in the sense of companionship for like just people of our age or even older, but like I'm thinking like further down the line, even for like older people. I have seen dolls in Japan that are not human. They take the shape of like a seal or something like that, and they're called like comfort robots. And I see a lot of practical application for that kind of technology. This is actually coming from the perspective of somebody who considers himself a transhumanist and a futurist. So I think that it would be really good to have these things, especially since there's a lot of people that can't find a partner or are incredibly lonely. And if that's what helps them through that phase of their life and helps them soothe that part of them, then by all means, I feel like it would be extremely good for them and their mental health.
Yeah.
Right. And kind of bouncing off of that idea of like being used for comfort and the ethics behind it, how it is ethical. But like with AI, machines are always learning, and like this whole concept reminds me of like the game Detroit Become Human, and how things went down with that. So like if we got to that point where we had these AI, these bots, or just other partners that we used through society that kind of help us live through life without because of our lack of partners or just difficulties in relationship, do you think AI is going to get to a point where they're going to want to have their own say in this, and kind of like we'll get some pushback from that? Obviously, probably not from the or not at the level that we usually see in like media, where robots are taking over the world. But like, do you think that's a possibility? I know this is kind of a turn in the direction of where we're going, but
when AI gets to that point, right? Is it a sentient being, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it is, because when AI gets to the point, because when you think about feelings, right? emotions and things like that. Even if you think about them in our brain, they're all electrical signals, right? That should tell us to feel sad or happy, things like that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And that is easy to identify or to how should I say it? Kind of like to know what it is, right? So, for example, if a robot knows that you're treating it bad, so it equals bad, right? That's not good, right? So it knows what sadness, happiness, and things like that are, because those are things that can be easily identified.
Yeah.
So if a robot knows that my uh, owner treats me bad, my owner hits me, things like that, or cusses at me, throws things at me, right? And it understands that it fears for its life, right?
Yes.
Does that robot have rights to life, right? Because do you consider it a sentient being at this point where if it does die, it's not unique anymore because of all the experiences that it has learned and gathered together to form its own personality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much like your phones today. Like like you have a phone now, and it gathers all this information about you right away. And when you get a new one, your new phone's not quite the same as your old one, right? It doesn't have the same information. It's not as fast as gathering information. So, not that your phone's alive, but it's more like the experience of that is its own experience now, right?
Now that comes to another issue because if all of that data, especially with AI, can be saved and transferred to another physical shell,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That data, aka its AI personality, is that should that be protected? As a sentient thing from not being deleted, right? Does it have the right to say I don't want to be deleted?
Right.
When it gets to that point.
Man, I'd get too sad thinking of deleting.
This actually
Because
reminds me of that one JRPG. Remember the one that has Monica in it, and you can if you delete her, she comes back, and then
Oh,
she gets
Doki
angry.
Doki Literature.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
She even fights back. Like I think the game is designed so that she fights back and tries to stop you from deleting her.
Yeah, she becomes vengeful.
Mhm.
is that the bad ending? So-
Yeah, kinda.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, because the topic of AI, and I know that we're kind of branching off from the love topic, but it is like when you think about it, a lot of people don't really think about it because just the concept of it that this thing can learn and learn and learn and have its own kind of set of personality from its own experiences, right? Later on,
Yeah.
that does that make this thing unique, right? Its existence unique, right?
Right.
That when it's taken away, it's almost like a loss of life too.
Mhm.
Yeah, in a sense, because like you said before, you can draw the parallel that we are electric beings and so are robots. However, at the end of the day, we are their creators. So we get to have a say in what they do.
But then that goes back to our parents. They created us, right? Do they have a say
Yeah.
to kill us too?
Technically, yeah.
Shit.
If we really want to be technical, yes.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, that's kind of gets into the whole sci-fi movie concept because these questions have been explored in a lot of sci-fi movies, flicks, and novels, and they happen to be one of my favorite genres, robot sci-fi. It's very interesting. All of it always is around usually Asimov's laws because that's what they want to program into the AIs so that they have a set of rules and stuff like that. So yes, I feel like that will be probably an issue in the future, robot rights, just like how we're fighting for our rights still in the modern day. That's going to be a thing. And also we're going to end up seeing a lot more stuff regarding privacy because did you guys hear that Apple is starting to do things to their app store and their own software to lock down companies from mining and harvesting your data now?
Yeah, that's what the new iOS 12, right?
Uh-huh.
I
Wow.
think that was a big thing that Facebook might be concerned about because they're I think Facebook uses this architecture where it has a little pixel or cookie or something that kind of tracks you as you go from site to site. Right?
Yep.
And then with that new thing in the App Store, I guess they banned that or something so that Facebook can't do that no more. So they're gonna lose all that revenue from tracking you, from going site to site.
Right.
Good.
So I think now Facebook is forced to kind of give this disclaimer, like, do you want to turn this feature on or off, right? But just the fact that you can turn it off, they'll lose, all of that revenue, right?
I mean,
They don't need that money anyways, Like,
I ain't sad.
About it.
I ain't sad about that.
They can wipe their tears with their $100 bills all day. I really don't care.
All day, every day, huh?
All day, every day.
Okay. Well, I guess so. We are in agreement that we agree in terms of like there's no ethical or moral issues with loving AI or inanimate or non-human things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, especially in like COVID right now. I mean, God, if I had AI partner right now, that would help immensely.
Oh, absolutely. And then it's also fun because you can talk to them and stuff like that. And it's not that far away. Like, I'm serious. The VR stuff for like VR boyfriends and girlfriends, that's actually a thing right now. Like, they've created these things. It's very
Now
interesting
try with
to
that
see
VR, with that VR boyfriend girlfriend that you're talking about. Are you talking to an AI or another human over there, and that's their avatar in the VR world?
Well, there's two things that you can do. You can either date online and you can date other people who are in an avatar form, which is very weird, but it is a thing now on VR chat and a couple of other VR like environments. And then you also have this, like, basically it's like a software and it's made by the same studios that make or used to make like graphic novels and all that stuff, and they'll construct a character archetype and there'll be a bunch of different types that you can pick from, and you can hang out with them, and they do interact with you and they do learn a little bit from you. Like, they'll learn your tastes and they'll learn what you like and stuff like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just experimental stuff that they're kind of messing with right now. And then the other thing that I heard about a while back, and I think this is actually old technology at this point, is that you guys know about Vocaloid, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, for the listeners, Vocaloid is basically a program that Yamaha made so that you can create music, and it's supposed to make the sounds of someone singing, but it's actually made by a computer, and it's computer generated. Voice actors, aka seiyus in Japan, will give their voice in clips, and they break the files down, and then you can create pretty much any song you want with their voice tracks. And so this thing kind of expanded beyond that, and the mascots that they created to represent the different voices that were present in the software were being extremely popularized on the internet. And then when people started making music from it, it went viral, and then the mascots went viral, and people started really loving their favorite voice character, almost like somebody loves like a celebrity or an idol. And concerts started happening, and this became a physical entity. So Hatsune Miku is their main mascot, and she now has live concerts with her holograms on stage. But there's this company that basically made a thing where you can keep your wife inside of a little capsule, and the capsule has a hologram inside of it, and it's a clock. It's like Siri. It talks to you. She moves around, and you can talk to her, and she'll talk back to you.
Huh.
Mm.
That sounds really cool.
When you say wife, like a real human wife or a waifu?
Waifu, yeah.
Oh, wife. Oh.
Anime wife. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's crazy, too, because it's like, we have our watches now. They talk back to us. We have our cars. They talk back to us. So now you're having this thing where it's almost like Siri was put into an anime girl, and now the anime girl can walk around and talk to you inside of a little controlled area where her hologram is displayed.
That's
Oh.
really cool.
Yeah, we are in the future. Elon Musk, here's your chance.
Future is here.
It's like Blade Runner then, huh? Blade Runner 2049?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's pretty cool. You know, I think that the only people that will be against this are the people that are afraid that the human population will go down because people will be falling in love with you know, electronic things.
Mm-hmm.
To be
Well,
But
fair,
at the same time,
we're already doing that to ourselves anyway.
I know.
well,
You know,
dating is so hard. I wouldn't be falling in love with these AIs. You know.
Yep.
um,
All it takes is one
I,
anti-masker to make the dominoes fall.
Exactly.
okay, all right, guys. So we're coming towards the end of this podcast. So at the very end, we're just gonna give a little bit of advice for people who are in the dating game right now. Okay,
Okay.
so just something off the top of your head. Give it to either fellow guys or fellow girls. Okay, and at the
Okay.
same time, I want to let our listeners know that this is a disclaimer. We're not like dating coaches. Okay, don't take our
Yeah.
our word too hard, but we mean well when we say these type of things. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I will start first. So for my fellow men, my guys out there that are dating, you know, just all that I would say is number one, just try to take care of yourself, be presentable, right? And then number two, you know, using the word like I'm a nice guy doesn't really work, right? So, just try to, each of us have our own personality, but just try to showcase like what are some of your best personality traits, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then kind of move forward with that. And then to my fellow girls out there, you know, I just want to say, you're all beautiful in your own way, right? Try to respect yourself, don't be uh try not to be like, too fake, and things like that because everybody out there is, even though we all kind of have our own faults, you know, everything about us makes us unique, and then you are very unique in your own way too. So just be
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Okay?
Mhm.
All right, so I'm going to throw it to Chai. Chai, you have anything to say to our listeners out there?
I absolutely do. One of the best advices that I had ever received from a friend about relationships is try not to be too picky. There is not that Mr. and Mrs. Perfect out there for you in this world. They come pretty close, but they're not going to be 100%. Be ready to accept and be open minded to a lot of different things and try your best not to be a jerk. And of course, take it easy, get to know the person, and just enjoy life together. Go do normal things, have fun, and don't pressure yourself so much. Everything doesn't have to happen by a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Oni, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I do have something to say. I would say, no more dog filters. Stop the dog filters.
That is a good
Tired.
advice right there.
Yeah,
Need the authentic you.
yeah. I want to see your face. Guy or girl, just human face. No more dog filters. Dog cat ears or whatever. That's fine, but no more the snout, man. Okay. All right, Rich. What do you got?
To close it out, I'd just like to say, for those of you who do want a relationship, who are focusing mainly on getting on a relationship, one, don't make your life about being someone's boyfriend or girlfriend, or like, basing your whole life based off of that one person. That can come off pretty it can give your partner the wrong impression. And also I think it's better, from my own experience, to just focus on working on yourself, building that confidence, so that when you do get in a relationship, you have a healthier mindset when you are together with that person. You don't think that you need to rely on that person, and it should be vice versa. I mean, yeah, you want a partner that you guys can feel like you can rely on them, but you shouldn't be like putting everything on each other. That's just one thing I think is good advice. Just make sure when you are in a relationship, you guys are both in like a healthy place.
Yes, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, panel, for your advice. So with that said, this is the end of our podcast. Thank you everyone for listening to us. I hope you all enjoyed it. We upload a new podcast every week on Monday. So if you like this episode, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get updates on our latest uploads. And you can also check out our new Twitter at ScuzzyPod and leave any comments or feedbacks that you like. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you all next week. Bye.
Peace.
See ya.
Stay scuzzy.